listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler. I'm the owner of KCCC 930 AM and the host of Community Forum. And with me today, for the second time, is Raymond Dominguez. Raymond Dominguez is the instructor of business. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Johnny. I'm glad to be here. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite well. Welcome back. I think this is the second or third time we've had you on. The second time you were also a newly instructor of business, yes. Right? Okay. So we're going to get to you here in a second. And for the first time ever, on my left, which means nothing to you because you're listening to the radio, is Dr. Luis Anchondo. Dr. Luis Anchondo is the Director of First Year Experience in Foreign Languages here at Southeast New Mexico College. How are you doing?
Good, Johnny. Thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be here. It's my first time doing this type of interview. So thank you.
Great. Well, we're happy you're here. And I know you're pretty new to SENMC, so we'll get to that here in a second as well. Actually, folks, for listening, the first time I ever met Dr. Anchondo, I've seen him around campus a whole bunch, but I haven't had a chance to say hi because he's always in the middle of teaching a class. So Raymond Dominguez, instructor of business. So Raymond, tell me a little bit about how long have you been instructor of business now? Because you used to be in HSI Grant Services, right? And you moved to instructor of business. And then how's it been going?
Yes. I've been at SENMC for 6 years. However, I've been as an instructor of business for 6 months.
Well, it hasn't even been a year yet.
Yeah, it hasn't even been a year. This is my first semester teaching full-time business courses at the institution.
How's that going, by the way?
I loved it. I got my bachelor's in international business, and then I master's in marketing and another master's in human resources. So I have taken a bunch of business courses.
Okay.
So it's been a great experience.
So you have a bachelor's degree and 2 master's degrees? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
All right. Are you going to go for that PhD ever?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I have a bachelor's degree only in journalism, and you don't really need to go too much higher in journalism, is from what I've been told, and I was pretty successful without. So I do not have a master's or a PhD, but I don't know the difference between the difficulty of a master's to a PhD status. I'm not really sure what that is, but when you start your PhD, come back on and tell us how difficult it is.
I will.
Yeah, all right. And I know it's an incredible accomplishment, and now you're teaching students. How many classes a week do you teach?
So in person, I teach 2 classes. I teach marketing, principles of marketing class, and then I teach one of the first year experience courses as well.
Okay, all right. And then you teach some classes online also?
Yeah. Currently, I'm teaching records management online and also capstone in business.
That's a pretty full load, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like a whole lot, and a lot of papers to grade too, I think.
A lot.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like quite a bit. You know, so yeah. I'm director of workforce partnerships here at Southeast New Mexico College, and we do workforce training, and we have training that involves no tests and no grading, right? So I'm pretty happy about that. I don't like grading papers. Always seems the bane of everybody's existence when you're a teacher, you know, or it can be, anyways. Dr. Luis Anchondo, director of first year experience in foreign languages. Luis, tell us a little bit about yourself. We don't know how long you've been at SENMC, how long you've been in Carlsbad, and how did you end up at Southeast New Mexico College?
That's a good question. So I was born in Mexico, in Chihuahua, and as many students or many people that come to the U.S. looking for an opportunity, that was my case back in 2002. I came from Chihuahua and I arrived to El Paso in order to do my bachelor's. I came with very little knowledge of English. Mm-hmm. So the first college that opened the doors for me was El Paso Community College.
Okay, yeah.
So I was there for more than 2 years doing my the basic, what they call the basic curriculum for before transferring to 4 years.
Associate's
degree.
Yeah.
And they provide my first job. I was a note taker for disabled students. So I'm very grateful for the community college in general. And it's very nice that life, after many years, they put me again in contact with a community college, but now I'm teaching. So I'm very proud of being part. So after finishing the community college in El Paso, I went to UTEP to do my bachelor's. I decided to study languages. So I have a bachelor's in language. And then I moved to Tucson, Arizona to do my master's degree. I did my master's degree in literature. And then I continued with my PhD.
Yeah.
And I was also working in Tucson, Arizona at the University of Arizona. I worked there for 7 years while I was doing graduate school. After finishing my graduate school, I went to teach for 1 year at Minnesota. And then I came back to El Paso to teach a couple of years until they gave me the opportunity here at SENMC to be part of the team. And that was 2 years ago. And something interesting, because I never get tired of studying, I'm finishing a second master's degree.
Okay.
I'm graduating actually on Saturday on bilingual education.
Well, congratulations on that if you're graduating on Saturday. So, I just got done talking to Raymond about how, wonder how difficult it is to go from a master's to PhD, right? But then I can just ask you.
Yes.
Is there a big difference between masters and PhDs, or what's the hurdle on that?
Yes. In my case, a master's degree, it takes approximately 2 years. PhD takes approximately 4 to 5 years.
In addition to the 2 years of the master's?
Yes.
Okay.
In addition, the classes are not very different. What is different from a PhD is that you have to write a dissertation. That's the most difficult part for many people, because you have to do your research. You are the owner of your time. You have to manage your time correctly in order to do research. And that's one of the biggest struggles of graduate students, that part of the dissertation. But if you do everything correctly, it takes approximately 4 to 5 years.
Okay, so that's 1 master's degrees and 2 PhDs is what we're looking at, right? Or did you have 2 masters as well?
2 masters and 1 PhD.
But you're about to get your second PhD.
No, I'm about to get my second master's.
Oh, okay.
So I did my master's, then PhD, and then I came back to a second master's in bilingual education. So my focus is bilingualism. I'm sorry. English is not my first language. It's Spanish. So that's why we are here, right? Because we are very interested in open the doors for persons that wants to study, but they have a language barrier, that it's English.
Okay.
Because in Raymond's case and in my case, we learn English while taking college classes.
Okay, yeah, that seems incredibly difficult to me, Raymond, to be learning a second language and taking college classes at the same time.
It is difficult. I graduated from Carlsbad High School in 2014.
Yeah.
My English, it was not great, to be honest with you. So when I started college, I started improving my English, because it was hard, but I had a great support system.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible. So let's actually get into the reason you guys are here. So Dr. Luis Anchondo. Luis, you're Director of First Year Experience in Foreign Languages, and then Raymond is the Instructor of Business. And I think what we're doing here is SENMC is offering their first bilingual business class. Did I sum that up correctly?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Raymond?
So, because we understand our demographics and the needs of our students,
right?
The first bilingual English and Spanish business course will be launched in August. So in the fall semester, from August to December, we're gonna have this first class, and it's gonna be in person. It's going to be in person.
Well, I think it would be even harder online to learn a second language, or to learn English or Spanish for that regards, and be online at the same time. I think in person, I actually find a tremendous amount of value in in-person classes. And just a personal belief of mine, I'm really tired of online classes. Like, we've been online before 2020, right? But then 2020, you were forced to be online. Yep. And I feel like there's a lot of skills and interpersonal skills and things that have been lost as a result. So let's get in class and collaborate and really get to know your instructors and be able to use them as a resource for you to be more successful.
Exactly.
So if I'm a student and I speak perfectly good English and I understand English very well, then I know what to do typically. I know how to go on. I know how to find a class. But let's say I'm a Spanish student. My primary language is Spanish. I'm learning English. You're going to learn English by default by living in the community anyways, to some degree. But how would I look this up? How would I find this on the website? What class should I look for, and how should I enroll?
Yes, that's a great question. So for anyone, if you're not currently a SENMC student, you can go to the website, senmc.edu, and then click apply. After you apply and then you go through the admissions process, then one of the academic advisors or myself, I'll be also helping with advising. We can help you to register for the class. The name of the class is Introduction to Business.
Okay.
So
there's like a class code or something I would need to note as well. Okay, what is that one?
It's called VUSA, VUSA 1110.
So BUSA 1110. And say that for me in Spanish again.
So the name of the class is called Introducción a los Negocios.
Okay. So here at the Workforce Training Center, Luis, we teach a lot of classes in Spanish. We have a lot of individuals that work in the industry that don't really speak any English at all. Mm-hmm. And what's more importantly for them is they're not required to, right? You can get hired on being a Spanish speaker. Now, you want to learn English in these industries in any kind of oil and gas mining and stuff like that. If you want to be promoted to be management or something of that nature, English is very important for you. But if you want to work in the industry, there's no requirement to necessarily learn English, right? So we teach a lot of our classes here in Spanish and English, right? And I like to joke around a little bit about the workforce training classes because I'm not a workforce trainer. I just happen to be the manager, right? And so what happens is I'll be walking around the building while we're doing a training class, and I have no idea what anybody's saying, by the way. I mean, basically I have an idea because there's slides and stuff like that, but Spanish is very, very important to our industry and the training that we're doing day in and day out. So we very rarely will we hire a trainer that's not fully bilingual, right? And then I'm 46 years old now, so I've learned in my life that I could be very much benefited if I can learn a second language, but I've got to tell you, I have a mental block. I don't feel like I have the ability to really do it all that well. My wife and I like to travel to Italy. I did have like a whole conversation with a cab driver, almost all in Italian, even though my language was very broken. But I think he was just being polite, but he knew what I was talking about anyways, right? And so I'm going to let you guys here in a little bit speak in Spanish for the listeners that are Spanish speakers that primarily speak Spanish, so they can learn how to enroll and everything like that. But Dr. Anchondo, I wanted to get to you a little bit. As Director of First Year Experience in Foreign Languages, how do you play a role in the Instructor of Business, this bilingual Instructor Business class that we're doing?
That's a good question. So we have been talking with a lot of students that are adult students in their majority that are taking English classes as English as a second language. And they are part of the adult education, which I think is part of the workforce.
Yes,
right?
adult education.
Adult education.
Yep.
But they are not enrolled at the college like for an associate's.
That's true.
And we have been talking to them because we want them to join the college and get an associate's, right? Because it's always good to have a certificate or a diploma from a college. It helps a lot. And they told us in the majority of the cases that the main barrier is language. How I'm going to enroll in college if I don't know English? That's why I'm taking these adult education English courses. And also they say another problem is that I don't have the money to enroll. So I always put myself as an example. I came from Mexico. I didn't have money. I only have money to survive, right? But the community college opened the doors for me, and then I was able to get a scholarship. Then I was able to get financial aid. Then I was able to learn English, and to be honest, not just the community, but almost all universities where I have been studying, they have gave me a lot of opportunities. So that's what we want to tell the students, that don't be afraid, that there are a lot of opportunities. But what about language? So Raymond, he designed this class about business, which is going to be bilingual, in order for them to take a class that it's also going to be in Spanish.
Right.
And then I decide to create a class that it's a Spanish class, but it's designed for students that already speak Spanish. So it's called Spanish for heritage students that maybe they know the language because their parents speak Spanish to them or their family. So they have some background in Spanish, or maybe they are fluent in Spanish. So they can take this class, which is Spanish, the code that you were asking. It's SPAN 1210.
Okay.
Then they can take that class, which obviously is going to be in Spanish, is designed for students that already speak Spanish, and they can receive their first credits for college.
Without having to speak English.
Exactly. Right, and also they can take the business class that Raymond is promoting, and those are another credits also for college, and they don't need to speak English to have those credits.
Do we want students to take SPAN 1210 before they take BUSA?
No, they can take them together.
You can take them at the same time.
Yes,
there's no prerequisite.
No.
Okay.
And my class, it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 11:20 a.m. And Raymond's, it's Monday and Wednesday at 11:30, right?
From 8:30 a.m. to 9:45.
So that's a great opportunity for students that don't speak English to get into college, to start receiving credit. And also, Raymond and myself, we teach FIEX. It's a class that it's called First Year Experience, that all the students are required to take it. In that class, all of our instructors are bilingual.
Right.
So that's another opportunity to start your college career, right? In classes that are either totally in Spanish or part in Spanish. And while you are taking those classes, you can continue learning English, and you're going to be more comfortable for example, next semester to start taking some classes that are just in English.
Right.
That's how we learn English, right, Raymond? That's and I want to say also that all instructors at SENMC, even though if they don't speak Spanish, a lot of them they talk other languages, and they know how hard it is for a student to take a class just in English, so they are very willing to help.
Well, then we also have advisors as well, right?
Exactly.
Raymond? We have individuals that speak. We have a multitude of languages on campus, actually. And one thing I really like about SENMC is it's the hub for multiculturalism in Carlsbad, right? It is definitely, it's the hub for it. There's more people from all over the world on SENMC campus than there is in any other places on campus, or in the community. I'm sorry. So what that means to me is it actually feels really great. You know what I mean? I like the idea of that. Now, Luis, you just spoke. What you just said has led me to so many questions. But I think the first thing I want to ask is for either one of you. Right, so these are good classes and we're reaching out to the Spanish community. It was the first question, then I've got like 3 or 4, so hold on. The first question is why is it important for Southeast New Mexico College to offer bilingual classes? Raymond?
So what I consider is SENMC, it's the only community college here around.
Yeah.
There's no community college. Just we have hubs, right?
Right.
But just around here, it's the only community college. And with the demographics here, we have more and more and more Spanish speakers.
That's right.
Population. I moved here in 2012. It's been a while.
So you moved here in 2012, and then you graduated high school in 2014.
Yes.
And you had 0 English before you moved here?
Exactly.
Right. So within 2 years, you were able to graduate high school at a very English high school.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Because I'm very determined.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to college. So these experiences that we're sharing is to inspire others. And the reason we are designing this is to tell people we have the courses that you can be success. There's no excuses. As far as like tuition, we are affordable.
That's right. Well, more important than that, and that's another thing you mentioned, Luis, is I wanted to talk about. You're like, you didn't have the money to go to college. You had the money to live, but then how do I find the extra money to go to college? Well, let's walk that back just a little bit, flip it on that. So the idea is that if you were a New Mexico resident, right, you get a shot to go to college for free every time, at least on the tuition side, right? But we have such low tuition that you could probably afford it on your own. But, you know, first time you're a New Mexico resident, You come into college, you've never been to college before, we will pay, or the state of New Mexico will pay for your tuition, right? And then you only have fees, which we also have the lowest fees in the entire state as well, right? And then plus all the other services that can come from that. So there really is no excuse, especially now if you're a primarily Spanish speaker and you're apprehensive or nervous about going to college, right? Or how can I afford it and how can I do it, right? First of all, the classes work around your schedule. Nobody says you have to take 12 to 15 credit hours every semester. Yep. You can go part-time because you're going to have a full-time job. There's something else you're going to be working on, maybe taking care of a relative or you got a bunch of kids you got to take care of, or even one kid's like a bunch to me. So even if you just have one student to take care of. So the excuses for going to college are gone, in my opinion, right? It doesn't cost you any tuition. The fees are low. We work very hard to make sure that your books are next to nothing or minimal, right? And then language is not a barrier either, exactly. Right? Which is the biggest thing. So then the other question I had, I also wanted to flip the script completely on that is, I'm an English-speaking individual only, right? Have a hard time learning new languages. So if I wanted to learn more Spanish, I live in this community, and I wanted to learn more Spanish, this bilingual introduction to business class, this Hispanic heritage class, those are beneficial for people that are only English speakers as well? Let me ask that question. Luis, go ahead.
Okay, so this class that I was talking about, Spanish for heritage speakers, can be a little bit advanced for students that only speak English and they want to start learning Spanish.
Okay.
But I offer 2 classes online for students that are just starting to learn Spanish.
Okay, right.
Yes.
That's where that foreign languages master comes into play, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right,
yes.
Right.
So, and those classes are online, which are very flexible. You're going to have a lot of support. And you were right that a lot of times to know Spanish, it's a plus, right? For every job.
Yeah,
every job.
Yeah.
So those classes are called Spanish 1110, which is basically Spanish 1. And the other one, it's Spanish 1120, which is a Spanish 2.
Right.
Totally online and designed for students that are just starting to learn Spanish. And this other class, which this one I forgot to mention, is going to be face-to-face. This
right.
one
is
Spanish
for 1210
for heritage speakers. And also because we believe in face-to-face education.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't really like a lot online classes because it's not the same, right? Even though you provide all the support. But that's something that after the pandemic, we have to live with. Everything has changed. And something very sad, and I don't want to deviate from the conversation, is that many students, even though they have time to take face-to-face classes, they prefer to do it online.
Yeah.
And that's something that is very sad because it's not the same.
Yeah, let me tell you a quick story. So my minor is in marketing as well, and my bachelor's degree is in marketing as a business minor. And as a communications major and as a journalist, they weren't necessarily the easiest classes. Some of them I found to be a little bit difficult. And I went to Eastern New Mexico University in Portales over 20 years ago now, right? And so one thing and they were all face-to-face classes at that time, late 90s, early 2000s. There wasn't really much online. And but being there in class every day, participating in class every day, then knowing my professor to feel comfortable enough to go to their office hours and to ask for the help that I needed and the assistance really showed them that I cared, right? And I think that I got some better grades in those classes than I would have if I wasn't face-to-face, if I wasn't participating in class, if I wasn't visiting them during their office hours. And part of being comfortable to visit your professor during office hours is going to be being there and getting to know them and know that they're open for you and they're there to help you, right? But leading back to my next question, Raymond, was the idea that your introduction to business, this bilingual business class, it's good for English speakers as well?
Yes. And let me ask you this.
Okay.
This is a question that I have for you. So as an English speaker, native English speaker, if you are a business student at SENMC,
right,
what are your personal and professional benefits of taking this bilingual class and learning Spanish?
What would be the benefits of it?
For yourself?
For myself, I think it's as Luis just referenced, it's actually much better to learn a second language. Being bilingual and specifically Spanish bilingual in this community would do dividends. I've been to multiple restaurants to where There's some of the service that doesn't speak very good English. And then if I could speak to them in Spanish, I might get better service, but more importantly, they would respect me more for trying and giving it an effort. But I think that, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not trying to label the immigrant community or anything, but I think there's a lot of Spanish immigrants or Mexican immigrants that speak Spanish here, a lot of people that speak Spanish exclusively, and I feel like they have a bit of a more entrepreneurial spirit than some native individuals that have lived in Carlsbad for multiple careers, right? And so I think the idea is if you want to interact with business, and I'll use this example from the radio station, right? Like in this radio station, we sell advertisement. Right? We try to get people to advertise on their radio station so it doesn't really make money. That's not the point of it, but it needs to pay for itself, right? That's why I have another full-time job and everything, right? So the idea is it needs to pay for itself. And I feel nervous about going into a business that it's a primarily Spanish-speaking business or, a business that, is either a food restaurant or some other cool stores or something like that, and going in and trying to talk to them and ask for advertisement and stuff like that. It's a little bit difficult for me, right? It makes me nervous. So I'm not even sure I really try to do it. You know what I mean? As a result. So I think the benefit of taking one of those business classes and learning Spanish as an English speaker would just make me better able to operate in the community. But when I use the word operate, I mean, it would just make it more comfortable for the entire community to feel like I'm somebody that is a resource for them, as opposed to just thinking or seeing me as a tall, white-haired, blue-haired, blonde-eyed guy, right? Just be like, all right, so this is all you get, right? This is just English only. That's not what I'm trying to do. I think the college is for the community, so everybody's for the community. So I think the benefit would be that I could communicate more, and I could help more people as well.
Exactly. Thank you for answering that.
You put me on the spot there. Dude. I'm not used to getting questions. I hope I fumbled through that one okay.
No, you answered great. And just to summarize this, some of the benefits for English speakers to take this class is to be exposed to basic business vocabulary, in which no matter where you go, it's going to help you. We are living in a multilingual country, right?
Yeah, we are.
And to make business.
Yeah.
Spanish will help.
I just want to make another example. So you got me thinking about it. So we have here at the Workforce Training Center, in the workforce side of the college in general, we have a lot of individuals that want to like specifically our CDL program is really popular. And I've literally been on main campus and had a person randomly walk in who does not speak any English. The communication barrier is quite difficult, right? Because I know very little Spanish. So then I turn around and I like, follow me, right? I'm able to get that far. And we're sitting there, we're walking to find somebody on campus that does speak Spanish so we can help them, right? Obviously, I just don't say, oh, never mind, I don't speak Spanish. That's not what we do. We find somebody that can help. But if there was another level of Spanish that I was able to speak, at least a little more communicative, right? A little more just conversational Spanish, something like that, then I could help that person a little bit more, but more importantly, make them feel more welcome, exactly. Right? You know what I mean? Yes. And that's really what I want to be able to do. Now, my introduction to business class for credit, I've already got my bachelor's degree, so I won't necessarily be taking that. But and then also, something we talked about before we started recording, and I just want to go ahead and get that out there is if you are a primary Spanish speaker and you show up to the college to apply for school, right, and to apply for classes, they are going to ask you to take a test, right, in English, right, an English test. But that is not a test that's a shot at you, right? It's not like, oh, no, you don't speak English. That's just to get an idea of where you're at when it comes to the Spanish language or to the English language. That way, we know as a college and as a community college exactly how to help you to learn more English. Where are you at? Or, oh, you're 50% proficient. Well, you don't need all that much, right? Or, well, okay, you don't have that much English skills, but that's okay. We have the resources for you.
That's a very good comment that you're, and I'm glad you're saying this about the test. Yes, there's a test that, correct me, Raymond, if that required from the state or?
No, so we do have an open admissions policy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that means anyone that apply, they will come and...
You just have to have a high school diploma.
Yes.
Right, and then if you don't have the high school diploma, don't worry, we'll hook you up with adult education and we'll get you that GED.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's very, very important. So yes, you have to take a test about language proficiency, but that test is not an admission test.
Right.
And that's a misunderstanding that a lot of people have. It's just a test that it's a requirement, but it's an open enrollment. if you have your high school, and no one can tell you that you cannot enroll because of your language. That's something very, very important. No one can tell you that you cannot because of language. It's an open enrollment, and we have a lot of people there to support you.
Right.
And that's why we are here talking to you, because we want to tell the community that we are there to help, and that language shouldn't be a barrier anymore, at least at SENMC, to get your a college diploma.
Right. I have to agree with you completely. So since I've been at the college, and this community college is the first college that I've been in since I was in college, right? And one thing that I really love about SENMC, or all colleges that are on our level, the community colleges, is we meet students where they're at. Right, that is 100% what we do. We meet you where you're at, right? So if you don't know any English, don't worry about it. We're meeting you there, and we're going to help you.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
I'm sure if somebody spoke Arabic and they wanted to go to college here, we can help you out.
Yes,
right. We'd
of
be able to get that done. Right. And so one other thing, and we're getting short on time, and I'm going to let both of you all close it out, and I want you to close it out in Spanish, right? But one other thing I want to say is that, like, we know that if you are a native Spanish speaker or a native speaker of a language that's not English, it is helpful for you to learn English. You will go farther in our country if you do know English. But I would say, and I would argue, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, is the idea that considering the growth of the Spanish language in our community, especially in the southern, southwestern part of the country where we're at, you will get farther if you know Spanish as well, right? I would make more money at this college if I was a fluent Spanish speaker, I could write it, I know how to do it, instead of just learning English. I really would, right? So I don't think it's just the idea that learning English will help you if you're in America. There's no question about it, right? But I think learning Spanish will help you just as much as learning English now in this country.
Exactly.
Right? And and then also, did you know, Dr. Anchondo and Raymond, I don't know if I've told you this or not, this New Mexico State Constitution is the only constitution in the entire country that has Spanish and English as official languages.
Yep.
All other constitutions have English only, right? And so the idea is the Spanish and English are both constitutionally accepted languages in our state. So the fact that I didn't grow up in school in New Mexico, but the fact that they don't make everybody learn just as much Spanish and as well as they do learn English is actually a violation of the state constitution. If you think about it that way, it could be, right? If you're not helping students learn Spanish just as well as you're teaching them English, you may very well be violating the state constitution. So if you want to get legal about it and think about it that way, I feel like we could sue some school districts over it or something, but let's not get into that, right? Let's just stay on the positive front. So I'm going to recap everything we just talked about in English, and I'd like both of you all to do it in Spanish, right? So we're going to start with Raymond. He has the Introduction to Business. It's called BUSA 1110. It is the first bilingual Spanish and English business class at SENMC. It starts in August. Go to senmc.edu to apply. If you don't know a lot of Spanish or you don't know a lot of English, this class is for you, right? This really feels like the first class that we have that's really for most people, like 90% of our community, if not a little bit more than that, right? Then we have, I'm just going to say Spanish Heritage, SPAN 1210, right? That's going to be for the individuals that are a little more fluent in Spanish, but it seems like a real critical class. And then there's also 2 online classes that you can take that kind of walk you through it on how to become a more proficient Spanish speaker, even though I may actually end up taking the first one, right? You said that was 1110. I may end up taking that one online just because the Spanish one might help me do that. I don't have to take it for credit. Yes. Obviously, I can just enroll in it.
Yes, this one, Spanish 1210 for heritage speakers, it's designed for students that they know Spanish, but maybe they don't know a lot of English and they are afraid of enrolling because of language. So this is an opportunity to take a class entirely in Spanish and receive a credit college,
right?
Which is like Raymond's business class. So
right, and then the first year experience class that you teach, I took a first year experience class when I enrolled in college the first time, and it was a semester-long class, and I think it's really helpful because it kind of lays the land for what's going to be happening, what's not going to be happening.
And for all 5 classes, first year experience, all our instructors are bilingual, so no problem.
No problem there at all. Excellent. So, any final comments in English before I let you guys speak to the Spanish-speaking population exclusively here at the end of this segment?
I would like to say that, Johnny, you mentioned something very important, and Raymond, that there are a lot of financial opportunities. So scholarships, financial aid. And I just want to briefly mention that we are also working on agreements with other universities. For example, with UTEP, University of Texas in El Paso, for students that want to transfer for a 4-year university after finishing their associates here. And I know that at UTEP, they are going to respect the New Mexico tuition in-state.
There you go. Yeah, that's nice. So Texas Tech does the same thing in Lubbock as well. Right.
So there are a lot of opportunities. I mean, students can start here with us and then transfer to another university.
Great. Raymond, anything in English?
So for the listeners, thank you for listening to today's podcast. And if you know a friend, a neighbor, someone at church, anyone that would like to go to college, we have a great college here. We have great programs, great courses, bilingual support, and it's affordable. So make this decision. We can help you. We are here for you.
All right. So that's going to end the English portion of our broadcast, right? So now what I was hoping both of you gentlemen would do, and Luis, we'll start with you, as I would like you to sell the class that you're here to sell today for the students, to let them know the opportunity that we have. But I'd like you to do it in Spanish, please.
¿Qué tal a toda la comunidad que habla español? No tengan miedo de entrar al colegio. Tenemos muchas oportunidades aquí en el colegio SENMC. Y el lenguaje no debe de ser una barrera. Estamos diseñando clases que son bilingües o clases que son totalmente en español. Así que el lenguaje no debe de ser una barrera y nadie les puede decir que no se pueden registrar en el colegio por su idioma. En lo personal, yo aprendí inglés asistiendo al colegio, así que los esperamos para que tomen clases y tengan un título universitario. Cualquier duda me pueden encontrar en las redes sociales del colegio como Luis Anchondo, y ahí está mi correo electrónico y mi teléfono. Gracias.
All right. Thank you, sir. Raymond.
Muchas gracias a todos por escucharnos y la clase de introducción a los negocios, que va a ser el primer curso bilingüe aquí en el colegio, va a comenzar el 19 de agosto. Entonces, si quieren ayuda para entrar a la clase, registrarse, pueden contactarme al correo rdominguez@senmc.edu o me pueden marcar al 575-234-9260 y estaré felices de ayudarle. Soy maestro de negocios y aprovecha esta oportunidad ya que tenemos cursos flexibles y queremos tu éxito.
All right. Thank you both, gentlemen. And if I may, can I say gracias, señor?
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.